I hadn't done one of these in a while, so this is a movie review. Spoiler alert. So I'll probably spoil it unintentionally or intentionally. But a man called Otto. I still like the guy who played in it, Tom Hanks. I don't know if he did the stuff that I rumored he said, but he lives in Greece now, or Greece citizen. But the movie's pretty good. It kind of kind of plays. I'm not grumpy. Not really. Most of the time I'm happy unless I'm in pain or something. That that's why people get ill when they get old. You get inflammation and not medical advice, just old telling on people, and you just don't feel good. So I feel pretty good. But anyway, this guy's old, and he lives in this little community, and it's kind of cool. They get snow and everything, and this old guy. So he used to be the neighborhood watch. So what he does, he still has his little chores he does, and that makes him feel good. He checks on the neighborhood, and he closes the gate and fusses at people for going down the wrong side of the road. And somebody that really him and they got along when they were younger, but then the guy gets sick, and he didn't really have children. He had a wife, and the story starts off, his wife just died like 6 months ago. And, this one kind of hit personal because my wife's had so many things happen, and the good Lord is still keeping her alive. But she is so sick that she's had so many close calls. So it kind of personal to me. But the whole front of the movie, about half of it, I guess, he's trying to kill himself because he's so depressed and sad. He buys some rope, and it starts out, and they've even made little shorts about it. It starts out he wants to buy 6 foot of rope or 5 foot of rope, and he said they charged him too much, like Home Depot or wherever it was, and he wanted to pay for 5 feet instead of 6 feet. And he said, well, we can only sell it by the yard. So he says, who are y'all? And everybody's young in there, and he's trying to deal with all the stuff. So it's very relatable for me at my stage in life. It's an old movie, but it's kind of good for the young people too, because there's different characters, and they have some new neighbors move in. They can't drive, and he gets in the car, and he just gets irritated. He wants to do it himself. So that's more of a baby boomer thing. I had a neighbor like that, and he said he was a lead maintenance guy, and the guys couldn't do something, he would just go fix it. Not even, he said that he just got fed up, didn't want to show him anything. He didn't have the patience to teach him, so he would just go do it himself. So that's kind of like this guy's. He's like old business type, very technical, wants to do everything a certain way, and so he tries to hang himself, and he's hanging up there, and it collapses, and then while he's trying to kill himself, people come bother him and ask his advice. He got his hose back from a lady. He said he'd bleed her radiators, which, you got cold air, so you got to bleed these radiators or they won't kick on when it's cold. So he said, well, I'll bleed them for you if you give me my hose back you've had over a year. So he gets his hose, and the first thing he does, he takes it to the car and tries to kill himself with a hose, and nobody take yourselves out. This is supposed to be comedy. It's a sad comedy, but seek help. This ain't medical advice or whatever, but don't try to do anything bad to yourself. Life is good, but he just had to find his purpose. So, he tried to hang himself. He thought about doing it with a shotgun, and, so it's kind of got some dark stuff, but then a family moves in. They have 2 children and a husband, and he's not too handy. He's real smart, got plenty of degrees, and the wife's smart too, but she's got common sense. And he says, so he kind of falls in love with his family, and they kind of live straight across the road from him. And he tried to get in the military years ago, but he has a big heart. But you wouldn't think it. You would think he was kind of a little heart, kind of like the Grinch or something, real mean. And so that kind of reminds you more of his character, kind of the Grinch, just grumpy. But he was had a big heart, so he couldn't get in the military. They said he lived a long time, he just couldn't serve. So his heart starts giving him trouble, and there's like a real estate company trying to come in there and force the people to sell their properties, and they want to take over. Well, one of the guys that he bled the heater for, who used to help him, he always wanted to buy a Ford. And then the guy eventually bought a Toyota, and he said, well, I can't stand somebody that doesn't want to honor their brand. And he was a Chevy man. His dad taught him all about Chevy cars, and so he was Chevy, and the other guy was a Ford. Well, the guy got a stroke, and he was just kind of in the chair, but he's living, and he knew that Tom Hanks' Otto was unhappy. So he even tried to grab his hose. He knew what he was wanting to do, and he had the power to stop him, but, he knew what he was trying to do. And then he was real smart. He couldn't do anything. He's like in a vegetative state, but he knew what Tom Hanks was going to do, and so that's kind of cool. So there's other guy that goes in there and eats all the time, and he lifts his legs real up while he's doing this little march. And then there's another person who their family didn't understand who they were, and they kicked them out. And this person working 3 jobs, and he done got on to him because the guy throws these papers out, and that's one of his jobs, and he parked his bike in the wrong place, and Tom Hanks wanted to recycle bins the right, and then he let that guy move in with him, and it, provided shelter for him. And so he's helping these people out. He's doing more after his wife passed than he did probably while she alive, because when his wife was alive, it was all that was, and but when his wife, they went to Niagara Falls. I've always wanted to go there, and on the way back, the bus flipped, and it killed the baby and made her paralyzed. And she was a school teacher, even being paralyzed, but he built everything to where it was her height. And then, he gets sicker and sicker, and it's so cool because he's letting people borrow his stuff, and he gave his wrenches to one person, and he knows it's getting in. He don't really need the stuff, so he already had everything set up. That little lady with the 2 kids, and they had even another child, and she needed a ride. He taught her how to drive, and he said, she had an automatic. He said, I'm going to teach you how to drive a manual. So he's stuck in like the old American ways, but kind of the Grinch. So he taught her how to drive, and then he started getting, I think he smiled every now and then. Well, he knew he was getting sick. He started having episodes with his heart, but he wanted to live. And then he, was going through all that, and they started checking on him, and he had to go to the hospital one time, and eventually he bought him a brand new truck. He gave his car, his favorite car, to that guy he helped out that worked 3 jobs that the parents disowned. And then, he bought him a nice truck, one of the new ones, and he had his house and everything, and he gave his house and the truck to the woman. And he said, don't let your husband drive, because you're the only one that's got any sense. Because everything, he's grumpy. So he was kind of, I don't know if it's unpolitically correct or unnice or whatever, but he just called everybody stupid. Like, well, that's stupid. Rah, 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 rah. So, it's kind of funny hearing that, because, you're not around it. Now, if you was in person, it wouldn't be, but that movie, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, so if you get a chance to watch it, I didn't spoil everything, how he deals with his wife passing and everything, and he started doing stuff, he started helping people and staying active, and, kind of like Scrooge. Scrooge was in there, the way I understand the stories. He had all this money, and he was just sitting there, and then he seen all these ghosts of the Christmas past and present and the future, and the first thing I think he helped was a little bird, and then he started running around. He started doing stuff, and helped. I think it was Ichabod Crane, the little kid, and helped them and put turkey dinner for his employee, and he started doing things and helping. So even, I think the moral of these stories, once somebody retires, kind of like, even Trump said it, once you retire, you're kind of not relevant anymore. So sometimes I feel a little bit like that. I got a little job, but I'm not really in the workforce right now, even though I'm looking for something or some kind of income. So, it's real relatable. It's these stories where they're classics, but it's where the old guy kind of, and you still got your marbles. So you hadn't got dementia yet or Alzheimer's, but you just kind of get depressed and kind of out of touch and all grumpy because the way you've seen things and then the world's changing, kind of like it is today. Because even went to a little store, somebody's young people wanting to pull stuff out. Just people are different now. They just do crazy things. But anyway, I wanted to share that review. Hope you like it. And don't forget to subscribe. And thank y'all for watching all my crazy content. And you never know. I like posting. And I watch it myself. And, I at least watch it 2 or 3 times when I'm putting it together. So thank y'all. I hope y'all have a great day. Hope y'all can find a job you love or business. Trying to come up with a business idea. They say reach out to people and see what they need. And then you got these people buying businesses and all this, but it's like you don't want to spend a lot of money and lose everything, and then you got taxes, and so you got to be profitable, or they don't want no stress. But yeah, don't forget Otto, a man called Otto. Pretty good.